Like Kate Hardcastle, who's a retail expert, she is a plethora of colour. She's like a garden at Chelsea Flower Show.
Yes.
She can be. You're much more extravagant, are you not, Kate Hardcastle?
Is extravagant a word I would use, Mr. Holmes? I don't think so. I'm a Yorkshire lass.
Beautiful,
So
blooming.
that's very kind.
Colourful,
Yes, colourful.
Definitely colourful. Yeah, we like our colours, don't we?
But you are individual as well. So are you an M&S shopper?
I'm not. And I think I should be. I think they should have an offer that suits me.
Yes.
I'm a mum of 3. I work very hard, but I want the best value for money. I want good quality. And I want also an ease of shopping experience. And I think they should be able to provide all of those.
What are they not providing then?
Whilst I think we look at a business that actually isn't as bad as sometimes the results make out, because they're still making profit, and they're still making sales, even though those profits are down. We have a business that actually has lost touch with a lot of its consumers. And I think it's trying to do so many things for so many different people that it actually fails at a lot of the hurdles.
Right, so young people, I understand parents shopping for children in there in terms of clothes, but I don't understand why they would cater, for instance, for teenagers. I presume you just write teenagers and young adults off completely, do they?
And you've got to be more niche. You've got to accept that actually we can't have all of the different pieces of the pie as a retailer and make it ours anymore. That's just not possible. So I think we've got to be realistic about who we are and actually be very confined to giving the customer what they want. The customers have changed. They're more demanding. We know what we want. There's more choice. But that doesn't mean that Marks and Spencer's then can get out of jail by saying, well, it's a very hard, difficult retail marketplace, because other people are making it work. And namely, if we had to mention one of those brands, it would be Primark.
Oh, yes. Primark, who do not have an online presence, amazingly enough.
Well, it's coming. They don't need to, but they've just opened the largest Primark store in the world in Birmingham. I was there yesterday. It has Disney cafes, it has barbers, it has hairdressers. It really is a retail experience, which is not what you would expect at the lower value price point, and yet they know they need to do it. They know they have to exceed expectations.
And you get Primark shoppers of all ages, don't you, as well? I mean, it's not just sort of like elderly women. And I think Marks & Sparks' perception of women in their 50s and 60s now is so old-fashioned.
Where do you say that? You say that. My wife is a mature woman, yes. And this week, I looked on the internet just before I came in here, their best-selling dress this week was something that people saw my wife wearing.
Yeah, and she looked gorgeous in it. Yeah, they got one outfit right.
Headlines. Wow, it was brilliant.
Yes.
They must have thanked Mrs. Holmes for that publicity, I think.
But so do they, Kate, need ambassadors? Do they need people in the public eye? I mean, every woman newscaster I know, everybody's presenting, they're all taking pictures of themselves and modelling where they get their clothes from. And you've got Holly Willoughby doing whatever she does.
She does Marks and Spencer.
She does Marks and Spencer.
She does do Marks and Spencer.
Does that make a difference?
I think it helps. I think they will say, well, we've had those ambassadors before, and I think they'll say also we've used real-life customers before. But actually defining your offer, not trying to be all things to all people, and getting it right is so important. And they have flickered and they've danced around all the different ideas. They've done high fashion, they've done economical fashion, they've done high-value food, they've done the £10 meal deal. Actually, consumers have got so much choice on the food, because the food's actually started to now be affected in the sales ratios too.
Yeah.
They are actually seeing a drop in that, and that is when it's significant, because that's a creeping up of even the olders and the littles in that mix.
Okay, but let me ask you something else about food. Pret-a-manger, of which there's one every 50 yards in London. There's also a chain of eateries called Eat, E-A-T, does what it says on the packet. So Pret are saying they're going to buy Eat and turn most of those Eat stores into vegetarian outlets.
Veggie Pret.
Why would you do that? Why would you deliberately alienate most of the population? Because most of the population aren't vegetarian.
It's a really good question, Dawn, isn't it? I think there is a massive increase in the amount of people that are interested in having at least a day a week where it's vegetarian. And I think this is more of a statement by Pret saying, we are very aware of these trends. We are trying to be accommodating, and this is the commitment we're making to it.
It's paying lip service, isn't it? It's a publicity stunt. That's all it is.
I think perhaps for a vegetarian or a vegan, because I have to look at all of the consumers and all of their demands and tastes and changes. And I know if I went in a focus group with some vegetarians and vegans, they'd say, we'd quite like a store dedicated to us. We'd like a store where we can go and pick anything we want up and it not have to worry about the ingredients of it. So I think they are tending to a smaller part of the marketplace, but a growing part of the marketplace. That said, I think actually these stores probably might convert in time to a more mixed offer.
I think
this is very much a statement piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kate, thank you very much indeed. Kate Hardcastle
Kate.
is our retail expert.